country where you're free to start a business because you think you've invented something really cool like a water bottle. But I want to live in a country where you can go belly up too. You see, Obama and the Democrats believe in a country of equal results. I believe this. Obama and the Democrats believe in a country where everybody lives in a $100,000 home, everybody makes $80,000 a year, everybody gets the same college education, and on and on and on. In a free America, we are a moral people as well, because the responsibility piece of freedom goes to the moral. I am so disappointed in my Republican Party because we're afraid to talk about the moral. And you saw it on vivid display last week during the Supreme Court, these two oral arguments on marriage. You couldn't find Republican colleagues to defend traditional marriage. We've forgotten what marriage is. We don't go to church. We think it's okay to kill babies in and out of the womb. I live close to a city where they gun down people every weekend, and that's only because they have no family structure and they have no moral structure. But if I say something like that to the Reverend Jesse Jackson, I'm a racist. Yeah. If you had Jefferson, Madison, Adams, and Franklin in this room right now, they would come up and they'd kiss you on your forehead. This country has lost its way morally. We've lost our way religiously. That's not how we were founded. Yes, sir.
We've lost it in several ways right here in town. We have a Franciscan priest who stands on the altar and says he's a diehard Democrat. And when you try to talk to him
do you ask him about life?
Away. He walks away from you. Won't talk to you.
Won't talk about life.
Won't talk to me.
Won't talk about marriage.
Won't talk about abortion. Won't talk. He just turn around and walk away from you.
Yes, my dear.
One thing I always talk about Americans, sometimes I get excited about a piece of legislation, and then I'm in favor for it. You guys vote.
I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it.
And then I turn around and it's not what I thought you guys were voting for. It was 1,000 other pieces that I had no idea was there. How do you get this information and figure out what you're voting for?
How do we get the information?
You, me, if they put it on the ballot for me or for you, so I can support you or tell you not to vote for it.
Yeah, it's not easy. We make fun of Obamacare because nobody knew what was in it, the people that voted for it. That's pretty typical. Look what's going on with immigration reform right now. You've got and raise your hand, how many people are sick of these gangs? Gang of 8, gang of 4. And why do we have a gang working on immigration reform? Sometimes that gets a laugh. Sometimes. But the point is, it's not transparent. So you got the gang of 8 working on this legislation. No other elected official knows what's in it. And they're going to try to draft it all next week. They're probably beginning to draft it now to try to force a vote in the Senate, and members of the Senate won't really know what's in it. So that's a big problem. Practical problem is, I didn't read every bill I voted on. You physically can't do it. The bills we draft are too big. Government votes on too many things. Government does too many things. But then as far as the voter out here understanding, there are actually a couple good websites that you can go to get a good synopsis of legislation and actually read the legislation. I can direct you to a couple of them. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that because I was always wondering, how is this a representative republic if my representative hasn't had time to look at a bill? I mean, there is no way that you can read that bill.
Right.
I'm glad you touched on that, but then once that gets passed, I wonder how many of us also understand that, okay, the bill is passed, so then it goes to the regulators. And that
No.
details really come into play.
No.
Yeah.
You are smarter than most people who work in Congress. Do you know right now, we all complain about Obamacare, right? 2,600 some pages? Huh?
7 foot tall.
Okay, can I depress you even further? Great point. Right now, there are 20,000 pages of regulations that are being added to every single day.
So where's our representation in that? I mean, once they write the regulations, like who, I mean, is it true that like in 90 days, if it's not, you know, struck down, that becomes law then?
No.
No?
No. It's an untold secret that a lot of American voters don't get, but bureaucrats, regulators do most of the work and really shape most of the legislation. Like, we'll vote on a piece of legislation. Say I vote on it, like they'll vote on some kind of immigration reform in a couple weeks in the Senate. I'll bet you it's a 400 to 500 piece of legislation. They won't read it, they'll all be briefed on it, and then that piece of legislation will go to their staffs, and the staffs will turn it into about a 4,000 to 5,000 piece of legislation. And they'll put things in there that your elected officials will never ever see. It's unfortunate. We don't talk about that piece of this very much. Yes, sir.
So,
And by the way, before you start, I'm not leaving. I want to have fun. I came all the way down here from Chicago.
That's right.
I don't want everybody to leave depressed.
so
Pick us
we're
up.
looking for solutions.
Yes.
You got a lot of red states, a lot of blue states. Are we not at a point, if they're taking us down, for some separation of the states?
Oh boy, here we go. This is
Whoa! Come on, Dave. We're going down.
All right. Understand something. I'll never get elected again based on what I'm about to say. You forget about government.
Maybe Texas has got it.
We're so forgetful in this country. This country didn't begin thousands of years ago. It's still a baby. 234 years. Heck yeah, our founders set up a system, a federalist system, where the states retain a lot of power. And we're getting dangerously close to a point in this country where states are going to say, federal government, I've had it, see you later. Where people are going to say, Springfield, D.C., forget about it, I'll see you later. Let me ask you a question. This one drives my wife crazy. Freedom. Limited government. What are you prepared to do to save this? Are you prepared to go to jail to save this? Far-fetched? Let me ask you something. Go back to our Catholic priest. Again, this isn't make-believe. Right now, this is law in this country. That government, our government, can force that Catholic priest to pay for a product that goes against his religious faith. What should that Catholic priest do, ultimately? Huh? Follow his faith, break the law. Let me throw another one at you. This will really get me in trouble. So the state of Illinois, I don't care what the state of Illinois tells me when it comes to a firearm to protect me and my family. The state of Illinois won't tell me what firearm I can use to protect me and my family. So read me. You're talking about a former congressman who is prepared to break a law to defend himself and his family. We're not just talking about Catholic priests. Right now there are about 70 active lawsuits in this country, Catholic and religious business men and women, who have filed suit against their government, which is forcing them to do things that go against their faith. I have no doubt these businessmen and women ultimately are going to be prepared to go to jail to defend their faith. We've reached a point in this country, long-winded answer, where states and individuals are going to have to think long and hard about saying no, whatever those consequences are. Yes, sir.
I'm a Lutheran pastor
Oh, God bless you.
in Canada and in Finland. Lutheran pastors and other pastors have been jailed for speaking out against this so-called abomination they call gay marriage.
Absolutely.
We don't recognize it, we fight it, and our whole denomination will go to jail to continue to speak out against it.
Now that's coming from a Lutheran. They're pretty good. They're close to Catholics. That's not bad.
Watch it.
God bless you. And this is serious stuff.
Yes, it is.
You've got, you know, guys, every 9.5 minutes, sit on this one, guys. Every 9.5 minutes, somebody leaves Illinois permanently. Never to return. Who's leaving? A taxpayer, a business owner, a doer, a maker, a producer. They're leaving.
Where's the line?
Right here, Mississippi.
Eventually, people will break the law, they'll vote with their feet, and eventually we're going to get to the point where, and I said if Obama gets reelected, this was last year, if Obama gets reelected, I really think there will be riots in the streets. But the riots, the people rioting are not going to be these Occupy Wall Street knuckleheads. The people rioting are going to be the makers and the doers and the producers who are going to say to their government, respectfully, I'm taxed to death. You can't take one more dollar. That business I'm running in Quincy, the regulations you're putting on top of my business, I've had it. I'm not going to adhere to that latest regulation. It's costing me too much. And those people are going to say, I've had enough. The people that make this country go are going to say, I've had enough. And you could get to the point where actual states, Texas, say, I've had enough. What else, folks? How are we doing?
You mentioned three things as being the cause, or the main cause. One is the politicians, two is us, the third one was the media.
Media.
I believe that the media impacts both of the other two in a lot of ways. They control the narrative, they also control the content that, you know, the uninformed voters see. So what do we do with our media in this country?
You fight!
How?
Here! First of all, I told you I'm 27 years old. That's a lie. Do you know that there were people that went to the ballot box on November 6th who thought Joe Walsh has 3 kids in diapers that he doesn't take care of? My kids are 25, 22, and 18.
Wow, that's your diapers.
But yeah, hey, they've got issues, but they're not wearing diapers. But because I became an outspoken Tea Party conservative, the media has gone after me with everything. So step one is you got to fight them. You don't back down. There's a reason I go on MSNBC a lot, because I want to fight. Point 2 with the media, personalize it. Can we all make a pledge? Don't ever use the phrase mainstream media again. Call them out by name. Brian Williams on NBC, the Chicago Tribune. We have to personalize how we fight the media. Hey guys, our 2 Americas, right, are fighting. The media is supposed to be right here in the middle. They're over here. Call them on it and personalize it. I mean, go after them. Do you remember that New York newspaper that published the names of all the legal gun owners in New York? With a map?
Yeah.
And then a group came out and published the addresses of everybody who worked at that newspaper? Fight! I don't care if you're 90, 80, 70, 60, or 20. Fight. Final piece, my friend. They're winning. This side has more votes than we do. What do we still have?
The truth.
I'll throw one thing that we still have. We have money. Use your money. Boycott the media. Boycott and run some of these people out of business. There's a reason why newspapers are beginning to go belly up. It's not just because of the online stuff. A lot of people are tired of all the crap they're getting from the Chicago Tribune, the Chicago Sun-Times, the Washington Post, you name it. Boycott the media. Vote with your dollars. Don't buy Progressive insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, heavily supports George Soros. Identify who these people are and boycott them. Look, it's a war. So I think if our side wants to get serious, boycott. Call them out and boycott their businesses. Run these people out of business until NBC finally has to admit, okay, all right, there are people in this country who are pro-life. Okay, I'll talk about them. All right, there are people in this country who believe that marriage is between a man and a woman and they're not a bigot. Okay, I'll say it. They're not going to change their tune unless we ignore them. Fight them and ignore them. What else, folks? I'm just getting started. Yes, ma'am.
Well, do you really think there are enough jails to hold everybody? Actually, I mean, take a stand, and I'll tell you, in 08, when Obama was running, and I was very fearful of Obamacare coming in, I flat out told my relatives that I'd go to jail. Because the things that I do in life, I can do in jail too. And, you know, she didn't, my sister in particular, who would be the first to go under Obamacare, didn't really know what to say because I really don't think she thought it didn't happen. Thank God she hasn't had that many problems. But what about Obamacare? Do we stand a prayer of it going away, or it just imploding and not being funded?
If Obamacare, if we don't stop Obamacare and repeal it, this is what you're looking at. In this country, in 5 to 7 years, you will be hard-pressed to find a doctor. Start there. Hey, if you're a woman in the audience, raise your hands. Hey, I love asking that because you always get a couple guys that are confused. Women! Why don't Republicans know how to talk about women? Moms, grandmothers, hear what I'm saying. If we don't get rid of Obamacare,